Hello and welcome to Living Life Naturally. I'm your host, Lynn Wadsworth, a board-certified holistic health practitioner and a certified wellness cooking instructor, and I'm here to help you walk in your own truth as you enter into this new and exciting season of life. So here on the podcast, we explore everything that helps you thrive, not just survive, in this powerful season of life. We talk about natural, holistic solutions for your health, your hormones, your energy, and your mindset, because midlife isn't the end of the story, it's the beginning of an entirely new chapter. So before we dive into today's conversation, I'd love to invite you ladies to come and join me in my free Facebook community, the Energized Healthy Women's Club. It's a beautiful space where I share weekly tips, strategies, and inspiration to help you boost your health, vitality, and well-being in natural, practical ways. So grab your favorite cup of tea, get cozy, and let's get into today's episode. Welcome everybody to a new Living Life Naturally podcast. I'm so thrilled to have you here with me today. And I do have with me also Stephanie Crassweller. She is coming to us with some great information today. And before we get started, I would like to give you a reminder that if you are watching on YouTube, please hit the bell and subscribe. Or if you're listening, I'd love for you to download or leave us a 5-star review. That would be wonderful. So let's turn to Stephanie. Stephanie, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, sure. So, my name is Stephanie. I live in Canada. I have a nutrition coaching company. We work with women predominantly in perimenopause and menopause. We do hormone testing. We do exercise programming. It's very health holistic. But I started out thinking that I was going to be a gym teacher. Found out very quickly that was not the route for me. Bless the hearts of all the teachers out there. You have a very, very challenging job.
Yes.
I don't know how you do it. I don't have the patience for it. So thank you for doing such a great job of raising our children. I thought I was gonna be a gym teacher, and that I figured that out right away. First year university, not the route for me. Got into personal training. I did my bachelor's and master's in kinesiology, but I did not like working with athletes. I was like, okay, so you can jump a little bit higher. Cool. Like, didn't really do it for me, right? And then I started working with women with lots of chronic conditions. So osteoporosis and cancer survivors, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, all the things. And I fell in love with it. I loved watching women transform, but I found, exercise could only take you so hard. So I started doing nutrition on the side, got a lot of certifications, started working for the health region, focusing on running all the chronic disease exercise management programs. But again, there was always just something wasn't working great. Started working in a gym, training other trainers. I eventually opened my own clinic, had massage therapists working under me, different personal trainers. I worked as an exercise therapist and osteopath as well, while still doing nutrition on the side. And, men would respond really great, which all of us know. We do a diet with our husbands and we're just like, how did I gain 3 pounds and you lost 20? This is not fair. And then I found, I dove more into metabolism and that kind of physiology, and results started getting better. But, younger women tended to respond better than older women. I'm like, what is happening? Like, how can someone be 250 pounds, 300 pounds, eating 1,200 calories and exercising and not losing weight? It didn't make sense. And then I found the world of hormones. And it was just like, I couldn't believe people didn't understand this. They didn't know it. And the advice people were getting from their doctors were, have you tried eating less and moving more? And I'm like, no, brand new idea. Thank you for lifting this veil that was covering my eyes. I had no clue that was how you do it. No, of course, we've already done that and it's not working, right? And then we cut the carbs and we do the fasting. And again, nothing's happening and we feel like garbage and we're gaining weight and we don't understand why. And so I dove really deep into physiology and hormones and really understand how the female body actually works now, which is fantastic. But unfortunately, we have to undo a lot of the learning that we've got from the past, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of a different approach to being healthy, to getting your hormones to a better place, to being able to lose weight, because it's not just eat less, move more. Otherwise, we wouldn't be struggling, right?
That's very true. Excuse me, Florida weather. So I know for a lot of people, they think about estrogen being a big factor in the way that they gain weight or they don't seem to lose the weight even though they're doing the stuff. So what kind of role does estrogen truly play for
Yeah,
a
so
woman?
estrogen plays a big role in like every single system in our body, all of them. The heart, the brain, digestion, everything. And so estrogen, we always think, "Oh my gosh, it's menopause's fault. I lost my estrogen. This is why I'm gaining weight." The way that I like to look at it is estrogen is like mom. Mom in the house, she's cooking, she's cleaning, she's getting groceries, she's making sure the dishes don't pile up, the laundry doesn't pile up. She's in charge of everything, right? Then what happens is mom gets sick. And now all of a sudden the house is a mess. There's no food in the fridge. There's a ton of dishes in the sink. The laundry is piling up. Is it mom's fault? Or is it that she was picking up the slack for everybody else in the household and now it's falling apart? That's what's happening. And so we are so quick to blame estrogen, but she's exposing all the stuff that was already happening under the surface because estrogen, when it starts to go down, we become more insulin resistant. So our blood sugar naturally will start to get worse. We're going to see that our stress hormones, cortisol, can increase so much easier than it could before. So before, we could handle a 5 out of 10 on the stress scale or a 10 out of 10 on the stress scale before we started seeing hormones tank and blood sugar get worse and our thyroid get worse and energy dipping and sleep getting worse and our digestion getting worse and inflammation getting worse. Before, it would take a 10 out of 10 before we started to see all those things happen. Now it only takes a 5 out of 10. So then we're panicking because we're like, "Oh my gosh, I'm gaining weight. I got to push harder." And you're just sending stress through the roof, right? And we're already dealing with a lot of stress. In this time of our life, there's career changes, there's more demand on us. We've got changes with our kids, taking care of sick parents, potentially divorces and moving, and all these huge life changes, and trying to figure out who we are because no one prepared us for this. When we're young, we think about getting married and having kids, and then what it'll be like to be retired and having grandkids. And there's this whole like 20-year span that we just didn't think about. And we're like, "Oh my gosh, can I just skip this chapter? No one told me what to expect," right? And so then we're seeing when estrogen's declining too, like our gut health gets worse. When cortisol goes up, gut health also gets worse. Our immune system flares up so much more easily. Inflammation goes up so much easily. And all of these things block our fat burning pathway, push us into a storage state, telling our body we have enough, let's store. Even though you're cutting carbs and fasting and doing the exercise and cutting the calories and doing everything right. And what happens is it's like we almost have this tolerance bucket. It's like a nice big bucket that we can tolerate for stress. It's our kind of our whatever you want to call it, our capacity. And so what happens is when estrogen goes down, that bucket gets smaller. And so what happens is what we can tolerate, it doesn't take much for that bucket to overflow. We need to be way more proactive about slowly draining out that bucket so we have room to deal with the stress. And when we cut calories and carbs and fast and do exercise, that adds water to the bucket. So what we end up doing is we panic because bucket overflows, we start gaining weight, and we just turn on this fire hose of cutting calories, cutting carbs, fasting, doing all the crazy stuff. And that poor bucket doesn't have a chance. And so we're actually pushing when we should be pulling back. And we see this all of the time where we start increasing calories. We start having the breakfast. All of a sudden, hormonal symptoms start to improve. All of a sudden now our digestion is better. We're sleeping through the night. Our energy is better. We're not snapping at our spouse just for breathing, right? And so we don't realize how much what we're doing actually stresses our body out. And then the way we relax is watching TV and scrolling on our phone, which is just constant stress and stimulation all the time. Like, when's the last time you drove without anything playing in the car? When's the last time you went for a walk and didn't have your AirPods in? When's the last time you just slowed down and like actually thought, have I took time to slow down my heart rate and breathing rate today? None of us do. We are just go, 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 go from the moment that we wake up. Our stress hormones are through the roof. We're skipping meals, which sends our stress hormones even higher. Coffee on an empty stomach, hormones, our stress hormones go up even higher. Our blood sugar goes to crap because if we don't feed our body and we're in a stress state, our body goes, oh my gosh, I need more energy to meet the demand. And so every time we're quote unquote on and giving, our body needs more energy. So what does our stress hormone do? It goes up, tells our body we need more sugar, we need more energy, tells your liver to dump sugar into your bloodstream to provide you with energy. And so we see a lot of women come in who are under eating, eating low carb and fasting, end up with insulin resistance because of the stress and how it affects your blood sugar. Because if you keep repeating this cycle every single day for decades, you become insulin resistant because your blood sugar has been so unstable for so long. And then you hit perimenopause, menopause, estrogen starts to go down. And it's like, I can't help you anymore. This is what you're left with. She pulls back the curtain. She's like, see ya. I'm done. My time here is done.
So how do you work with people to help them overcome that?
Yes. So what we do with women is typically at first we are doing testing. We like to do testing. We do assessments in house to see what are the factors that are blocking your fat burning pathways. Because there's a lot of things like inflammation, poor blood sugar control, stress, poor sleep, the types of foods that you eat, right? If we're eating highly inflammatory type foods, if we're living off protein bars and protein powders, low carb wraps and breads, those are filled with fake fibers and honestly a ton of preservatives that just inflame us more. All those things block fat burning. So we do a big assessment to see what is actually causing your body to go, we have enough, let's store, even though you're eating 1,200 calories. And then we start adapting and adjusting things like what foods do we need to introduce? Meal timing. Are we having breakfast within 90 minutes of waking? Are we having too much caffeine? Do we have to pull back a little bit on that? How do we actively take time in your day to slow down? People don't realize how much things can improve if you literally just take 5 minutes and focus on slowing down your breathing rate and breathing deeper because your heart rate comes down. Your nervous system can calm down. Cortisol can come down. When we're in a high stress state, your body can't produce hormones because it's wired for survival and keeping you alive. And it goes, this is not a priority right now. And so that's what we're seeing happen. And every time that you diet, so how severe someone's dieting history is, your body is more sensitive. And so this is where you see people cut calories and they start gaining weight. And so we need to recalibrate your whole system. And a lot of it is some basic stuff that people are scared to do, like eating carbohydrates, because they're like, well, my blood sugar is already bad. And it's like, okay, but carbohydrates bring cortisol down. Cortisol coming down will stop your body from dumping sugar into your bloodstream. So you have control as to, increasing the blood sugar slightly. So insulin comes up, it stays maintained, and then slowly comes down. Whereas if we aren't eating and controlling it by, eating often enough, so eating every 4 to 5 hours, not snacking and grazing all day, actually eating when you wake up in the morning, having your carbohydrates at every meal, you can control that so much more as opposed to, well, hopefully my body cooperates with me today, right? And so it's just relearning how to eat and when to eat and what to eat for your specific body, because everyone is so different because you're an accumulation based on everything you've experienced up until this point, right? If you have thyroid condition, if you've had a lot of stress and trauma in your past, for me, I've had so much trauma growing up. For me, I can't drop calories super low. My body will view it as a danger. I get inflamed and gain weight super quick. I can't stay in a low calorie state very long. If I'm in there for more than 6 weeks, I start gaining weight. And so it's understanding what things are turning that fire hose on and your body perceives as a big stress, because I don't have to perceive it as stress like this. I love podcasting. I love teaching. It is one of my favorite things to do. I find it so fulfilling, but I'm on. So my body perceives it as a stress. My Aura ring tells me all the time after speaking at events and stuff, you're stressed. And I'm like, but I don't feel stressed. I don't have to perceive it. That's my body's job. And so you can't control what that is. And it takes time to learn that, right? It's easier to have someone walk you through that and show you how your body's responding, because we're really good at ignoring all the signals that our body is trying to tell us because we've been doing it for decades.
Yeah, that's so true. So when women come to you, and I know you've had the physical ed part of it, a common question is, well, does that mean I have to go to the gym and be there for an hour a day, just pushing to help me lose weight? So can you address the whole exercise question?
Oh, yeah. You do not have to be in the gym every day by any means. You can get results with working out in the gym for 45 minutes a day, 2 to 3 days a week, as long as you are pushing yourself with strength. Because the thing is with estrogen, when it starts to decline, our muscle breakdown signal goes up, our muscle building signal goes down. So the default is our body is going to lose muscle mass. If you're stressed and under eating, that accelerates the muscle breakdown signal. It really amplifies it. And we know that if you don't have muscle mass, blood sugar gets worse. We also know metabolism slows down. Your body is worse at taking food and turning it into fuel and more likely to store it as fat, which nobody wants, right? We want whatever we eat to get used for energy, not storage. But also for longevity. Like the more muscle you have, the shorter your hospital stays are, the fewer surgical complications you have, your all-cause mortality decreases, and you're reducing your risk of osteoporosis. Like there are so many health benefits that will change the fact of if you're 80, are you in a home or are you living independently, still babysitting your grandkids? You get to be at the soccer games in person instead of watching it from a screen. You don't have to get your kids to bribe your grandkids to come visit you once every 2 months for 30 minutes to play some cards. Like that's the difference of muscle mass. It's not just a weight loss thing. It is, what does your life look like at 80? And when we're looking at how to do that, you need to send a muscle building signal. This means you have to actually challenge your muscles, because if you're always doing the same thing, if you're always doing high reps, you're never upping your weights, your body has no reason to change. You are not sending a muscle building signal. So you can do 15 reps, 20 reps. It's basically junk volume is what we call it, because you're working to make the last 2 reps very challenging. So if your rep range is like 8 to 10 of whatever exercise you're trying to do, if you could do 12, it's too light. We need to up your weight because you're never going to get that muscle building signal. So you're going to work out and never look like it, which people hate, right? And so this means challenging yourself. You have to get uncomfortable. You're not going to wake up one day and be like, oh crap, I look like the Hulk. Like that has never happened. It doesn't happen overnight like that. It's very hard. And so once you get to where you want to be, you can actually reduce the frequency, intensity, and maintain muscle mass a lot easier. But the thing is, when estrogen declines, we have to be more intentional. It's not going to happen on accident. There needs to be structure to your workouts. You need to follow the same workout routine for 4 to 6 weeks, because otherwise your body never adapts. You never get stronger. You never build muscle. And so we see women doing the HIIT classes and we see women doing the boot camps. That will not build muscle. If you're a new exerciser, you'll see some changes at first. But if you're someone who's been active-ish for most of your life, that's not going to cut it. You're not going to see changes. You're going to be frustrated and you're probably losing muscle mass, to be completely honest.
Mm. And is there a way when, for some people, they either don't have time or the inclination to go to a gym, but they want to exercise. And of course, COVID kind of brought so many options on YouTube. I mean, how can we do it at home, but still really have it matter and work?
So like the YouTube videos won't work. Those are mostly just cardio. They're not progressively overloading your muscle mass. You're not going to send a muscle building signal. The best thing that you can do is get some dumbbells, but they have to be heavy, right? Slowing down your tempo will help as well. So if you're doing lunges, if you've ever tried doing lunges where you're going down for 3 seconds, holding, coming up for 3 seconds, getting to 12 is a struggle versus just bobbing up and down, right? So there are some ways that you can manipulate it, but you still have to follow a progressive overload program. That's, the same program repeats itself for 4 to 6 weeks before you see changes where you are challenging yourself to get stronger week to week. Like we have an exercise subscription program that we do specifically for this reason. There's 2 versions of it. There's one that's at a commercial gym, and then there's one that's like just dumbbells, just bands, just body weight. However, I always encourage women to go to the gym, because even if you just use the machines where you sit, extend your legs and bring them back down, or the seated machines, even if you're not comfortable with dumbbells and stuff, you can do those machines. They're safer, but you can still really push weight. Like A leg press, people will leg press hundreds of pounds, but they'll never put that on their back for a squat, right? And so this is where you can use the machines to help support you to get stronger. And people are always way stronger than they think. Like when they're doing rows, if they're sitting with a cable machine, easily rowing like 60, 70, 80 pounds, you're never going to do that at home on your own. But because the fact that you can do it shows me that what you're doing at home is not sending a muscle building signal because again, it's not a big enough stimulus for your body to have to change. There has no reason to.
Hmm.
So it sucks to hear and people hate
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But it's like the truth of the fact is you need a big enough signal for there to be change.
And of course, I'm assuming that if people can afford it, getting a personal trainer to actually work individually with you is very beneficial.
I like telling people if you can afford it, getting a trainer, even just for 6 sessions to teach you how to do stuff and feel confident using all the machines and the barbells and feeling more comfortable in the gym is absolutely worth it. But you have to find a good trainer too, right? Like that's always the hard part is
Mm.
a lot of people do not know how to train women in midlife or they do, random exercises, change it up every routine, every day, and that's not effective. And so it does take time to find one, unfortunately, that is knowledgeable and understands.
Mm.
But getting a trainer just to teach you how to use the gym and feel more confident and use the machines, I think is always worth the investment because then you can, follow online programs where you follow the same workout every 4 to 6 weeks before it changes and you feel confident doing so. And so learning how to move and use the equipment is just as valuable.
Mhm. So if you could give people one or two tips to get them started to kind of change all this weight gain and brain fog and estrogen stuff, what would be some of the best tips that you would give them?
Honestly, eating breakfast is a really big one. Eating breakfast within 90 minutes of waking, it's something we do with all of our clients. And they all feel great, do well, right? Sometimes we introduce fasting, but it's usually just for like a few weeks for a very specific time for a specific purpose. There's a clear end date, right? A lot of people don't know why they're fasting. They're just told it'll work. And for most people, it doesn't, right? So having breakfast in the morning within 90 minutes of waking, getting at least 30 grams of protein in there would be ideal from whole foods. And then eating most of your protein first before dipping into your carb, because there should be a carb at your breakfast. So that would be the first one. And the other one is sleep. Sleep
Mm.
is the one thing that is so key. We know that if you have poor sleep, inflammation will be higher, cortisol will be higher. You lose your insulin sensitivity by 20 to 25% the following day just with one poor night's sleep. When we become more insulin resistant, we know it's harder to lose weight. Your body naturally wants to start storing. So sleep is something that you need to prioritize. Like there are studies that show two groups, calorie deficit. Only difference was one group got 5.5 hours of sleep, the other got 8. The group that had less sleep lost only 25% of their weight loss from fat. The rest came from lean muscle, which is not what you
Mm.
want. So they actually had a higher body fat percentage because they lost more muscle than fat. The other group was able to maintain far more muscle and lose more fat, with the only difference being sleep. And so this is where you need to get into bed and be in bed for at least 8 hours, ideally 9 if you can. This is where we're calming our nervous system before bed, doing some deep breathing. If you're watching screens, make sure it's a non-stimulating thing, right? Because a lot of us are watching the news and stuff, and that's not going to help us sleep.
No.
Wearing blue blocker glasses if you are on screens before bed. Maybe you're reading before bed, maybe there's some prayer involved, maybe you're gratitude journaling, whatever that is, but there needs to be some sort of winding down routine and getting in bed long enough. And this is the thing everybody wants to fight you on because they're like, this is my downtime. And it's like, yes, but then you spend the whole time you're awake grouchy, dealing with cravings, you're upset with your body composition, you have the brain fog, you're more irritable. It's worth it to be in bed that extra hour because then the rest of your day when you're actually awake is better and you'll be
Right.
healthier and it's easier to see fat loss.
Yeah, I agree 100%. So I know that you have a gift for our listeners. Could you tell us
Yeah.
about that?
Yes, so we have a quiz that you guys can take, and what it does is it assesses, is your fat burning pathway open? Is it blocked, first of all? Because if your pathway is blocked, you can eat less, move more, nothing's going to change. And then from that quiz, it'll also tell you what are things that you can start doing to open up those fat burning pathways, to improve, so fat loss is even an option. We also offer free consultation calls. They're totally free. They are not a sales call, where we assess where you're at, figure out more specifically, what are the guidelines that you need? Is there food changes that we can make? Are you eating enough? How much should you be eating? Is there adjustments to exercise you need to make? And we offer those for free because it is very, very hard to have someone take some time to understand your body and give you some guidelines on what you should be doing.
Yeah, that's a great offer. And where is the best place for people to find you?
Yeah, so we do have a podcast. It's called the Metabolism and Menopause Podcast. It has topics on every single hormone and question you could ever think of in midlife. We also have a Facebook community called Metabolism and Menopause by Vitality. There's over 27,000 women in there, and there is a ton of free resources. We do webinars in there every other week. There is so much good stuff in there for you to get started on your own. And then you can always follow me on social media, either on Instagram at VitalityOET.Stephanie, or you can find me on Facebook at Stephanie Crassweller.
Awesome. I really appreciate you coming on. So often we get kind of fluffy pieces, but you've really got into the nitty gritty of it. So I really appreciate that. And I apologize again for my wonderful voice today. This has been going on now for a week or so. Florida's just full of lots of pollen, I guess. So thank you so much, Stephanie. And I look forward to seeing this published out. I'll put all of your information in the show notes. Make sure people know how to get hold of you. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for spending your time with me today on the Living Life Naturally podcast. I really hope you enjoyed today's conversation and that it inspired you, encouraged you, and reminded you that midlife isn't something to endure, it's a season to embrace. So if you enjoyed this episode, would you do me a huge favor? Please take a minute to leave a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts. And don't forget to follow or subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you'll be the first to know when new episodes drop. So until next time, ladies, remember, you are strong, you are wise, and you are just getting started. Take care of yourself because you are so worth it.